Greetings, fellow earthlings, and welcome to Tales from the Hoop, a podcast dedicated to diving into the weird, wild, and wacky stories from basketball history. I am your host, Ricky Freck, and today I didn't have a very good pithy one for this one, so I'm telling the story of the ABA team with five names to my brother.
Laser Dave.
All right, so last time out we talked about the San Diego Conquistadors slash Sales. Today we're talking about a team that moved. Actually, they didn't move around that much,
Okay.
but
Okay.
they did change their name. They moved around quite more than most teams, but they changed their name a lot.
I'm excited to. I think more teams should be open and willing to
That's
change
just
their
because your
branding.
team has a trash name and a trash logo
Yeah,
and
that's
has
fair.
like two good jerseys in the history of I mean, their history is not that long, but they have two
Yeah.
good jerseys and everything. Like their jerseys are so ugly.
I would say they have like two passable jerseys. I don't even know that we've ever had a good one, but
I like that orange, the Oklahoma City orange, like the orange
yeah.
one
This it was
with
like
the
called the
blue
Sunset.
lettering.
Yep.
I like that jersey. Their normal jersey is one of the ugliest. It's like a sin to have to wear that jersey every week.
The
Uh,
Native American Heritage jersey is the only one I've ever been like.
See, I think okay, and that is true. That is a good jersey. I think Oklahoma State did it first,
Hmm.
and so I'm like, oh, they're just stealing from Oklahoma State because Oklahoma State did that cool teal jersey back in the day.
Oh.
Uh,
So
and
you don't support Native Heritage?
no, I support Native Heritage. What I don't support is stealing from the best university in on
So,
God's green earth.
hmm. Okay. Have fun
Um,
with that.
Although I will say, I think both teams, when they wore those jerseys or have worn those jerseys with Lindy Waters on the team, so maybe it's
There you
okay.
go. I will say though, just in general, I think changing teams is good, and at least like a refresh. You don't always have to like completely change the team name, but just give it a little refresh every now and then. Things get so stagnant. It
I
should.
think I think that's true to some degree, but I do think that you'll have a lot of people disagree with you, and the reason for that is because if let's say the Thunder change their home jerseys every single year, which does happen in like soccer, right? Like the
Yeah.
Premier League, they change their jersey every year. And what happens is that then fans who don't have as much money can't buy the new jersey, so they show up to the stadium wearing the old jersey, and then they look like doofuses. Whereas with
No,
the
that
Thunder,
throwbacks are cooler than
well,
like new jerseys.
throwbacks are cool, right? Like if I wore my Jeff
Oh,
Green jersey, it would be cool. But if I
yeah.
wear if I wear the jersey from the previous year, it's not as cool, right? It has to be,
Hmm.
you got to have like 10 years before it's a throwback.
I guess I don't see it that way, but I understand the point.
Actually, I think I have a Nate Robinson jersey, not a Jeff Green jersey. Now that I
Maybe
think
my standards are too low. I would just never judge anybody for wearing. I would be like, that's dope. Maybe not throwback worthy, but I
well,
don't
like
care if people
before
wear
this
last
year,
season's jersey.
I think okay, before this year, right? If you're a Minnesota
Yeah.
Vikings fan like me, and you showed up to a game last year wearing your Adam Thielen jersey,
Mm.
I think people would make fun of you. I think they'd be like, "What are you doing? Why are you?" Now it's cool, right? He's back on the team. We're good with that. But I think if you the last 2 years when he was playing for Carolina, people would be like, "Why are you in an Adam Thielen jersey? What is
Yeah.
wrong with you?"
Let us know in the comments what you guys think about jerseys, old
If
school
you have
jerseys.
if you are a Vikings fan and you show up to a game in a Brett Favre jersey, you should be murdered on the spot. As should he.
Didn't
All
he
right.
get you to the playoffs?
I was not a fan of the team during the Brett Favre era. I did not watch any of their games. I would not have
That year's
celebrated.
blacked out.
I would not have celebrated if they had won a Super Bowl. The same would have happened if Aaron Rodgers had signed this year.
That'd have been so dope.
I was begrudgingly a fan when Kirk Cousins was there because he's a loser whose wife dresses him.
Come on.
And you're a 35, 36-year-old man and you let your wife dress you. I cannot root for you. I'm sorry.
If she's got better taste, what's the problem?
Well, and his father is like a Christian nationalist. So actually, I don't know if that's exactly true, but his father is crazy and doesn't believe COVID is real. So not a fan of the Cousins family and hope he
Hmm.
never comes back. Please, JJ,
I don't
save
think he will.
us. Or Arch. If we suck bad enough that we could get Arch in 2 years, that'd be fine too. He
Back
has
to
that weird,
basketball.
he has a weird sidearm mechanical throw, but still, it's fun. Yeah. Okay. So let's get. Sorry, I almost said, did you watch college football yesterday? But instead, I'm gonna jump into this. One of the founding teams of the ABA was the New Orleans Buccaneers,
Ooh, I love it.
which so this they
Buccaneers.
were I don't really know why, but they were given a team for like way less than everybody else. Oh, I
Like
just hit my microphone. I apologize to our listeners.
the amount they had to pay in.
Yeah, I think that everyone else was at least 30,000
Okay.
and they were 1,000.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
why. I didn't really look
They're
into
just
that.
getting desperate.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because of this reason, because they were awarded the group of investors included a man named Morton Downey Jr. Do you know
Hmm.
anything about Morton Downey Jr.?
Yes, I'm
What? Do
well
you?
well versed in
Tell us.
Morton.
Tell us what you know about Morton.
Yeah, uncle to
I
Robert.
knew you were going to go there.
Um,
I knew it was going to happen.
I mean, you kind of have to. But he's also a junior, so I think he was in textiles
Text. Yeah. Okay.
and no, I don't know. I have no idea.
So his dad was a popular singer in the 20s and 30s, known as the Irish Nightingale. His mom was an actress and model, and
Hmm.
Morton Jr. was a talk show host and kind of actor who
Okay,
became
kind of.
yeah, like he acted some. He became relatively infamous in the 90s for his controversial content that he would put on his talk show. So kind of like a Howard
Oh,
Stern,
okay.
maybe during or before Howard Stern.
Yeah,
He
Howard
was
goes back.
Yeah, he was big enough to be featured on Saturday Night Live and WrestleMania 5, but I believe it was 1990, his show, the Morton Downey Jr. show, was canceled because tried to stage an event where he was attacked by neo-Nazis to drum up
Okay.
press. So
Oh,
his
okay.
claim was that he had been attacked by neo-Nazis. They
Yep.
tried to shave his head and drawn a swastika on his forehead.
Okay.
Uh,
Did
and then
he himself draw one and
and then
then
people investigated, and he had drawn a swastika on his own head, and then tried to pass it off as neo-Nazis happening to him, so people would talk about him in the press.
yeah.
Um, that's and then his show got canceled, and he kind of fell off the face of the earth to some degree. Did a bunch of like suing people.
Yeah.
There were a lot of other controversies. I'm not going to talk about them. You can look
Yeah,
them up on your own because I'd rather not drop any racial slurs on the podcast. So,
great. I do understand going for, it's not the first time or the last that someone's tried to be like they've done like a prank to try and get ratings.
mm,
I don't know if m- putting a swastika on my body in any way would be my first guess. Like
your
that's
first
just crazy.
guess.
My first attempt at trying to bring in ratings. It just seems
Yeah, I think
anything
my
swastika related, stay away from that from a PR perspective.
At
You
this
know?
point, I mean, yes, I do agree that's bad, but I think at this point, my first thing I would say no to is going to a suicide place and like potentially filming someone who had committed suicide by hanging themselves and then filming a funny video, being like, oh, look how funny this is, and putting that on the internet. But apparently, you can do that and still become one of the biggest entertainers in the world. So who cares?
He didn't put a swastika anywhere.
It's true. You're right. Yet. He hasn't done that yet.
Oh, God.
The days are still early. It could
Oh
happen.
boy.
Speaking of those days coming later, the stuff Morton did later came, you know, a decade after actually
Okay.
2 decades
Yeah.
after his ownership of the Bucks. And to be fair, he was not really involved at all. He was kind
But
of like
so basically at the time he was hot and they wanted some of the press that would give them
sort
seemingly.
of, yeah. But he also was just like his family was rich. He just had money,
Yeah.
so he wanted to do stuff. And he was basically out after like a month. So
Hmm.
I just brought him up because he's the only person that you could really talk about from the ownership group because the rest of them no one has ever heard of in their life.
I mean,
Probably
if
not
all it
even
took was a thousand
Morton.
dollars, then maybe it was just some buddies of his.
Yeah. So the Bucks were in the ABA from the beginning, and they actually did make a very smart decision to start things off because they hired a guy called Babe McCarthy to be their head coach. Now, I'm sure you don't know anything about Babe McCarthy.
I
Uh,
know he's got a great name.
he does have a great name. He was a coach at Mississippi State and George Washington,
Okay.
and he was one of his like claims to fame was that he was one of the earliest coaches to cross the color barrier in the 60s. So
Okay.
basically, his Mississippi State team was not allowed to play in the NCAA tournament because he allowed his team to play against black players. Not even
He
had he didn't even at some points didn't even have them on his team, just that he
right.
let them play against black players.
Like they had been given a virus and they might transfer it
That yeah, that's how some people thought back in the day,
away.
and maybe some people still think that way today. I don't know. Sorry, we shouldn't get political on this podcast. Babe was also known as Ol Magnolia Mouth, which is a great nickname
Okay.
because he had a very thick Mississippi accent and said a bunch of weird catchphrases. So here are a few examples of his catchphrases, which I'm going to tell you, I don't know what very many of these mean, but
Great.
apparently he said them a lot. Here's one. My old pappy used to tell me the sun don't shine on the same dog's butt every day.
He's not wrong. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. He would say, why panic at 5 in the morning? Because it's still dark out.
I don't get that one, but
I think he's saying like, hey, we knew it was going to be dark out at 5 in the morning. Why are we panicking?
hmm.
So
I'm just saying lots could happen in the dark that's worth panicking over, whether it's 5 a.m. or not. So
that's a fair point. And then the last one, which I really do, I guess this one kind of makes sense. He would say, now let's cloud up and rain all over them.
rain all over him.
I feel like that's something that Steph Curry could say about
Yeah.
them shooting threes.
Yeah. Steph and Clay would cloud up together. And
Not
that
anymore. Rest in
actually,
peace.
I don't know if we've talked about this before. I know it's a popular internet meme. I think it would be worth trying in a regulation NBA game for all four of Steph's teammates to make a circle around him with their hands
Uh-huh.
so that he has an open shot where and then just dribble past half court, maybe 5 feet behind the 3 point line. There's no hand in his face, right?
So you just think you're saying you want Steph Curry to have a circle of men around him to give
Their
him a free shot.
their arms are locked together so that
Uh-huh.
people can't get through and they have to foul to get in. So
Is
it's
that a
either a
moving
foul.
screen?
I don't think so. Probably, but I think so. They need to try it. I think
Yeah.
that's what he meant by like a cloud
A
rain down
cloud
on him.
up. Yeah, they're gonna make a cloud around Steph Curry so he can
Right.
rain all over him.
I
Okay.
think I think that's what this guy was going for.
I would love to see him try that in an all-star game and just see what happens.
Let's see what
I think
happens.
if it happened in a real game, he would get vilified, but in an all-star game, that could work.
If it's game 7, I think he should like game on the line. Why
I
not?
I got bad news for Steph Curry fans out there. I don't think that man is getting to another game 7 before his
No,
career's
probably
over.
not.
In the finals, maybe in the playoffs, but I don't think
Hey,
the
if he
Warriors are any
gets if
good.
LeBron gets traded to Warriors,
I sorry. I look, LeBron, I don't doubt LeBron. I'm what's the word for if you a LeBron sexual, but I don't think LeBron is moving the needle much if he gets traded to Golden State.
that's
I,
insane.
what do you mean? I don't think because who
He's still an All NBA level player. He
yeah,
averaged like
who
26, 7, and 7 last year, which
what
is
where
like what he's averaged his whole career.
and he's never scored that point line, which is crazy. What did they do in the playoffs?
Oh my gosh. A new team, new players, injuries. He'll be fine.
Do you think you in your head believe that Steph Curry at 36 or 37 years old is as good as Luka Doncic is right now?
I think that him and LeBron's skill set would fit better together, actually. Yeah.
That maybe is fair. Although I don't know if I agree actually. I think Steph's pretty ball dominant too, isn't he?
No. Sorry.
Mm.
He is currently, he does not have to be.
That's fair. Yeah. That's a good point.
Steph, the one thing I'll always say about him is all those like all time, when you're picking your all time teammates or whatever, who would be the best
Hmm.
starting five, Steph can fit on any possible team because he's such a game breaker with the 3 point shooting that
Yeah.
whether it's pull up or catch and shoot, that he just fit like no matter who you have to get him the ball, he fits on any team.
Yeah. LeBron also fits on any team because you would build your team around him. You have to. LeBron is the number one pick of all the time. It's so easy to build. I feel like Michael Jordan's tougher to build a team around. LeBron is so easy to
I
build
agree with
around.
that.
I'm
I'm
not saying
not
he's a better
saying
player. I'm just saying he's more easy. He's easier to build around.
I think LeBron is a better pick than Steph Curry, but Steph Curry fits into more slots than LeBron. If you already had Jordan, you
That's
wouldn't also take LeBron, but you
factually
would.
not true because LeBron can guard
Okay.
every position. Steph Curry cannot guard anybody. So LeBron fits into more positions technically.
On defense.
And on, I mean, he literally does everything on offense as well. So
That's not true.
what does LeBron not do on offense?
He doesn't have game breaking 3-point shooting ability like Steph does.
He can still shoot threes really well.
Not even close to as well
Could
as Steph
can
Curry.
Steph Curry even dunk? That's my question.
Oh my
Can Steph
gosh.
Curry dunk? Can
All
Steph Curry back someone down in the post that is
right. He
7 foot
doesn't need
tall?
to.
No, I'm just saying. LeBron could do everything.
Yeah.
LeBron could do everything. It's a fact.
It's weird
No
that
one
Steph
can
beat him
deny
so
it.
many times in the finals.
What,
I don't know.
twice?
Yeah.
So many times. It's 1 and 2.
Wasn't it 3?
I don't think so. I think LeBron is 1 and 2 in the finals against Steph. Isn't he?
I don't know. I thought they went up against each other 4 times.
I thought it was 3. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways,
Anyway.
okay. So when putting his team together, Babe wanted a star player, and he had a great solution because there was a man named Doug Moe. Now, you probably noticed as we talk about, and you will continue to notice as we talk about the ABA, Doug Moe and Larry Brown come up a lot.
I was gonna
So
say we've heard about Doug Moe before.
yeah, so we are going. We will probably save like a deeper dive into Doug Moe. I mean, when I say probably, it's definitely not happening today. We'll probably save it for later because they are both such good coaches. Like Larry Brown is in the Hall of Fame as a coach, not as a player, and they do later become coaches in the ABA. So,
Okay.
so we'll
Okay.
probably wait for that team, but we do have to talk about them here because Doug Moe was one of the players, much like Connie Hawkins, who was unfairly banned by every league for being involved in a point shaving scandal.
Nice.
However, much like Connie Hawkins, was never proven, even like kind of proven that he
Oh
was
yeah.
involved at all.
Sounds like a rumor to me.
So he was banned, but Babe did not care.
Why are
He,
we asking questions about this anyways? It doesn't sound legitimate.
you're correct, but
Yeah.
it still happened. They banned a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
They banned, Connie Hawkins, Alex Gorza, the guy from Kentucky. But
Luca's dad? Luca Garza's dad?
no, Gorza, not Garza.
Hmm.
Although I will, and also his name is Luke, not Luca.
I thought it was Luca.
No. But I will say when I was when I was doing something with Alex Gorza, I did have that exact same thought for a second and I had to go make sure that it was not, they were not
Luca
related.
Garza was the best
Luke. His name
play,
is Luke.
was the best player in college basketball, right?
He was very good for Michigan, yes.
And then he's trash in the NBA.
Or wait, was he Purdue? No, that's Zach Edey. No, was he Iowa? I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah, he's
And he's
not good.
trash in the NBA.
I mean, he played for the Thunder, so he can't be that bad.
Luca Garza?
Luke. Pretty sure.
He
Or
did not
maybe,
play for the Thunder.
are you sure? Maybe it was a different
Yeah.
tall white man. I don't know. They all look the same to
The
me.
point is NCAA sucks.
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Anyways.
So he had been banned, but Babe did not care. He wanted the superstar so bad, who was playing in Italy at the time, that
Okay.
he agreed with Mo to let Mo's friend Larry Brown join the team. So at the time, Larry Brown was an assistant coach at North Carolina, and Doug Moe said, "If you bring in Larry Brown, I'll play." And so I think actually they both said that. Like they kind of it's a little bit more confusing, but essentially they both were on the team. And here is the old Spurs GM Bob Bass describing the duo. In the first year of the ABA, Larry Brown and Doug Moe were the New Orleans Buccaneers. The team had some other good players, and they had a great coach in Babe McCarthy. But when you thought of New Orleans, you thought of Larry and Doug. Off the
Okay.
court, they were like twins. If you saw one, you saw the other. It's hard to believe that two guys would be together like that everywhere, which kind of is no, well, I'm not going to get there. On the court,
Hey.
it was like they were operating from the same brain. Larry was the point guard, and he'd bring the ball up the court, and then Doug would cut backdoor and catch a perfect pass from Larry for a layup. They made the kind of plays guys can only make when they've played together for years. And to be fair, the two had grown up together in Brooklyn and then both went to North Carolina to play under Dean Smith. So they really
Wow.
had been playing together for forever. These
Yeah.
guys were attached to the hip both before they were professionals and pretty much their entire careers. They have been.
A basketball love story. You love to hear it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So with those two at the helm, the Bucks were a top team. Mo, Brown, Red Robbins, and Jimmy Jones, who was a rookie center, all made the All-Star team that first year. Larry Brown led the league in assists, and um,
They all made the All Star team.
yeah, there are only 9 teams, so you got to get 15
Yeah,
players or whatever. So a lot of people made the All-Star team.
my bad, my bad.
Um,
It's like that's so impressive.
I was looking at the stats, and in the first year, Larry Brown led the league in assists with 149, I think.
Okay.
Can you guess the number for second place?
Oh, I would have said like 100, but you
I will tell you
said
it
that.
was Connie Hawkins was second place.
Okay,
And I will say this
79.
might be in the playoffs. I wasn't completely clear. This might be in the playoffs, not in the regular season. So it was kind of confusing. So playoff assists, Larry Brown, 149.
Yeah, that's like how many games did they play?
I mean, they played like yeah, it's not that's got to be playoffs because they
Okay, I'm
played
gonna say 72.
64 was second place.
Good Lord,
More than double.
that's out of control.
Yeah. So Brown made the led the league in assists and made second team all ABA, almost said NBA, excuse me. Doug Moe dropped 24 points a night and was routinely a top perimeter defender, finished in second for MVP voting, and made the first team all ABA squad. And Jones, the rookie center, made the all rookie team. So they're a very good team. Finished first in the Western Division and ran to the ABA championship round. And there they went up against Connie Hawkins and the Pittsburgh Pipers.
Oh yeah.
Game 4, the Hawk tore a tendon in his knee.
Ah, rough.
Missed game 5, came back and won the ABA's first title on
Oh
a
my
torn
gosh.
tendon in his knee.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, come on, these little pansies playing basketball today.
Also,
Gotta
what I'm
tear
curious
your
what made
Achilles
him.
and sit out for a year. Come on. Connie Hawkins needed 2 days.
Yeah, I feel like leverage is a key factor there, but I'm curious what made him like sit out one game and then be like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep playing.
Because he plays for the badge, not like these, I almost said a bad word,
But
not like
why not
these
just
jokers
play? Like,
today.
why not play in game 5? Why did you have to skip one?
How, that's,
You know what I mean?
how dare you? He tore a tendon in his knee and he missed
If
one
you're
game.
going for it, go for it.
That's that is the rudest thing I've ever heard.
Maybe he was just
How
maybe he's
dare
like
you?
maybe he's like, okay, we could still win, so I'm not gonna play. And then he saw how bad his team performed. He's like, all right,
They
put me in.
need me. They
I don't
need me.
care about this tendon.
I mean, he was averaging well over 30 points a game in the
Yeah, put a
playoff.
brace on.
Put a brace on.
I don't know what a tendon does.
Oh my God. You don't know what a tendon does?
Yeah, who cares? It's not a muscle. I mean, you can still move, right?
It's the thing that attaches one muscle to the other, so it's a little
Aren't there
important.
2 tendons though for each
In your
muscle?
knee, there's 4.
See, you got 3 more. Come on, put a brace on. Ice
You
it.
got your ACL, MCL, PCL, and the LCL.
Oh, he tore one of those.
Yes, that's
They
the
they
one that's
think
in your knee.
people say those are important.
Yeah, they're very important. We can ask. My wife has tore her ACL.
Oh boy, she
She's a
needs to
big
stop
old
running
scar.
100-mile races.
It was in high school. She's fine now.
Oh, fair enough.
I saw the other day, to get off topic for a second, I have never been a person that's going to run a marathon.
Hmm.
And last night I discovered the Taco Bell Ultra 30 miles.
Do you eat
And
a taco every
you,
mile?
yes, you, no, sort of. It's in Denver and you run
Okay.
around the town. There are 10 Taco Bells around the town. You have to stop at 9 of them. You have to stop at all of
Okay.
them, but you have to eat a Taco Bell item at 9 of the restaurants.
Okay.
Uh, by I don't there's like some specific rules. Like by the fourth one, you have to have eaten a Crunchwrap Supreme, so you can't just like pick the easiest item.
Yeah.
And you can also make it harder by consuming during the run, consuming 2 liters of Baja Blast and not barfing.
You can make it harder,
Yeah,
or you
if you
have
want,
to.
you can also do the Diablo version and have to have Diablo sauce on every food item and not poop.
Yeah.
You're not allowed
You
to
know,
poop in 11
there's a
hours.
there's a lot of things in life where I don't really necessarily understand why people are interested in it, but I'm like, let them have their fun. It's that's okay.
Uh-huh.
That's something that I, I don't think should be legal. It seems
I
uh
honestly might start training to do that. I'm
That
considering it heavily.
especially the no bathroom rule is just seems really unhealthy and really bad for everyone involved. But, to each their own.
I might go for it.
I will
They call it as
happily.
grueling as the Barkley Marathon. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it sounds like one of the worst things you could do to your body.
I might have
But
to. I don't.
I'll cheer you on
I might
happily.
have to go for it. So what's interesting about this run to the title is that we know the ABA had one of the wildest travel schedules of all time, and Doug Moe was absolutely terrified of flying.
Okay.
So during these days he would fly, but later in life when he became a coach, he would see the plane and he'd be like, "No, I'm not getting on that," and he'd just get in his car and drive.
Oh boy.
So George Irvin, who was I think he was a coach of the Pacers, described Moe's fear like this: Doug Moe seldom drinks. He was and still is a coffee shop guy, which
Okay.
I love that. I wish I was described as a coffee shop guy. Maybe that's what the people at Duncan describe me as when they see me twice a week. But when we flew and it wasn't game day, he'd drink a lot. He'd get in part of the plane where he could pull down all the shades, then he'd have a couple scotches. At first, seeing Doug so nervous on the airlines was sort of funny, but then it got to me. Here was the toughest guy I knew, and he had absolute fear in his eyes. I started to think, maybe he knows something. Pretty soon, I didn't get as bad as Doug, but I didn't like to fly either. I still don't.
Someone was so terrified or had a complex so terrifying they gave someone else a complex.
It's incredible. So, what happens next, we've actually talked about because in year two, the Bucks decided they needed Steve Jones, who was a all-star level player for the Oakland Oaks. So they
Mhm.
traded Larry Brown and Doug Moe to Oakland for Steve Jones and Ron Franz.
Dang.
So they traded away the guys that had taken them to the finals.
Right.
Said we don't need them, and we need this guy Steve Jones.
Yeah.
Now Steve Jones,
MVP runner up. Yeah. Let's trade that guy.
yeah. Now Steve Jones, very good player. He joined Red Robins to make the All Star team, and they actually did finish in second place in the West, but they lost to the Oaks in the
Mm,
Western Finals. So they Larry
can't
Brown
believe
and
it.
Doug Moe got their revenge. During the season, the Bucks also moved to the Tulane gym. And then, well, actually, sorry, for the next season, they moved to the Tulane gym, and they weren't very good that year because Jimmy Jones hurt his knee, who was their former all rookie center,
Okay.
and missed almost all of the season. So they still had Steve Jones. He was having two Joneses does make it confusing, but Steve did make the All Star team. But the most important part of the season for our purposes is that one day Babe told Steve, "Hey, Steve, I'm going scouting." And scouting could mean a lot of things, apparently, if Babe McCarthy was involved.
Okay.
It could just mean he's going to drink, but it would
Yeah.
be basically he would say, "Steve, I'm going scouting," and Steve was in charge of the team because Babe had to go
Okay.
do some stuff.
Some
So
slanderous activity generally.
in this instance, he actually was going scouting because they needed players. They were terrible, and
Yep.
he remembered a kid from one of his basketball camps who he thought was 6'9", named Wendell Ladner. Now,
Who he thought was 6'9".
yeah, yeah.
I love the prompt. Let's see where it goes.
Now, Ladner had gone undrafted when he finished school, and he put on
Okay.
some weight. He was 260 pounds when they met him,
Okay.
when Ladner met or when Babe met him, and Steve Jones.
Theoretically, he was 6'9", 260. Got it.
Steve Jones says Babe told him this about Ladner later. So Babe McCarthy said this about to Ladner. None of those damn NBA scouts will have your fat ass. But I'll tell you what, since I've known you about all your life, I'll take you and I'll give you a $500 bonus.
Great.
You
So
come,
nice. Lucky guy.
you come and try out for my team. If you make it, I'll play your ass. Jones then said, Wendell was the strongest 6'4" guy I had ever seen in my life.
Wow. 6'4". Okay. Could
No
you
one,
imagine? That's kind of like the time when the guys were listed alphabetically, and then the guy thought that was the real list.
yeah, that was great. Another great
If you're the coach
image.
and your owner's like, I'm gonna bring in a 6'9", biggest guy, biggest, strongest guy, and then he shows up and he's 6'4", you're like, okay, great.
Except this was also the coach doing that. So
Sorry, yeah.
the coach was doing it to his own players. Wendell was the strongest 6'4" guy I had ever seen in my life. No one hustled like Wendell. He'd throw a bad pass to himself. And what I mean by that is he'd throw a bad pass and then he would chase it down,
Mm. Yeah.
running over everyone else to get to the ball. So he'd like throw it by somebody and then have to go run it down. Uh,
Yeah.
he he also loved to take 3 pointers, and he missed most of them. But what
Good.
he did well was he'd shoot a three, crash the board, get his own rebound, and go back up with a shot.
I mean, hey, if he can injure an opposing player while he's at it, no.
Oh man, how prophetic you have just become. Physically, he could just brute you to death. Terry Stimbridge once said, "One day, I was interviewing Babe about Wendell, and we talked about the water cooler incident." So this was when Wendell was in Kentucky. He dove into a water cooler to save a ball and had to get 48 stitches.
Okay.
And so Stimbridge said to Babe,
Sheesh.
"It seems Wendell doesn't really know the meaning of the word fear." And Babe said to
Mm.
me, "That's right, of course. He doesn't know the meaning of many other words either."
So this kid, impressive guy.
So basically, if you're trying to get a picture of Wendell Ladner, he is 6'4", strong as an ox, dumb as a brick. But more than anything, Wendell was always the enforcer for whatever team he joined, including later in life, he served as Dr. J's bodyguard for the Nets. But one night, another tough guy we'll talk about later, John Brisker,
Okay.
walked up to Steve Jones and he said, "Hey, I heard you got this tough white kid on your team." I told Brisker, Steve Jones said, "I told Brisker, Ladner can fight. I wouldn't mess with him." Brisker said, "Well, we'll find out tonight."
Oh boy.
Now, this is Steve Jones still. Pittsburgh had a very bad and very selfish team. Brisker was out there shooting the ball every time he got it, trying to get his 30. Once Brisker got his 30 points, he decided it was time to go after Wendell. John threw an
I love the dedication to 30 that he's like, at some point tonight, I'm going to scrap, but I have to get mine and then we'll get down to business. I'm getting thrown out of this game. I want everyone to know. But first, let me score
first.
some points.
I mean, maybe it's in his contract. Maybe he has some incentives.
Yeah, I love it.
Maybe they should do this with Draymond Green, and then we wouldn't have as many nut shots. Like, okay, Draymond, if you get your 25, then you can throw a nut shot, but you
Yeah,
got to wait until after that.
yeah, love it.
So John threw an elbow at Ladner, who didn't pay any attention to it and just ran down the court. The next time they came down the court, Brisker threw another elbow, and Ladner went crazy. It became more like two bulls trying to gore each other than a basketball fight.
Oh, God.
These were just two big, strong, tough guys. In their next game, they got into a fight at the jump ball to start the game.
Can't even wait for his points. Come on.
Yeah, but eventually they learned that neither guy could beat the other. Another guy, Rudy Martsky, I don't. That's probably not pronounced right, but who cares?
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure his family cares, but still, any claims that
Sorry.
yeah, anytime Ladner and Brisker played each other before the game, Ladner would go to Brisker's locker room and he would
Oh,
yell,
no.
"Hey John, you want to go at it now or after the game?"
I mean, I respect it. Sounds like they respected each other in a weird way.
So these guys just love to fight. There's another story I didn't tell, or I didn't put in here about Ladner, where there was a this guy on another team was the enforcer, and Ladner came and fought one of the other players that was not
Okay.
the enforcer. And after the game, the guy was like, "Hey, you're supposed to come have my back if Ladner fights me." And the guy said, "Sorry, they said that if we come off the bench, we get fined $100." And he said, "I don't care if if Ladner comes after me, you come and protect me, and I will pay your $100 fine."
I love that.
Uh, on top of being a absolute stud of a fighter, Wendell was absolutely a stud of a ladies' man as well.
Ooh.
Dave
Okay.
Vance claims this is a true story, 100%
Okay.
true. Here we
Okay.
go. Wendell went to see a doctor and said he had a discomfort in his groin area.
Mm.
For the record, Wendell
Okay.
was single at the time.
Oh boy.
The doctor said, "It looks like you've been having too much sex."
Okay.
Wendell said,
How can you? I have. No, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but how in the world could you just identify? Like you got
Chafing is my
you got to have a
guess.
lot of sex, I guess.
Chafing would be my guess.
Yeah.
Wendell said, "You think so?" The doctor said, "Well, Wendell, how many times a day do you have sex?" Wendell said, "I don't know, 3 or 4 times." The doctor said, "Wendell, that's too much." And Wendell said, "Here we go. This is the kicker. Well, it's never with the same girl."
He's got a point. Come on, Doc.
Unfortunately,
Wow.
Wendell died in a plane crash in 1975 while playing with the Nets. The two-time ABA All-Star was only 26 years old, and this is crazy. The medical examiners could only tell it was him because he was wearing his championship ring that he won with the Kentucky
Oh no.
Colonels. Yeah,
It's crazy that they had the fear of flying. Sad.
yeah. Back in 1970, though, the Bucks were struggling financially. There were plans to turn to the regional model, which we know works very well. So they were going to
Yep.
have games in New Orleans, Shreveport, Lafayette, Monroe, and Baton Rouge.
Hmm.
However, in August, a man named P.W. Blake bought the team, moved it to Memphis,
For $40, I'm guessing.
and renamed it the Memphis Pros. I actually don't know how much he paid, but I'm guessing it was not a lot.
The pros?
The Memphis Pros, and you want to know the reason that they left it as the Pros was because changing the uniforms from the Pros to the Bucks would not cost very much money because the lettering's the same number of letters. That's why they didn't
Oh,
change.
okay.
That's why they
Okay.
changed it to the
Yep.
Pros.
It's not a horrible name. I don't hate it.
The Pros instantly ran into trouble because they had been purchased in August and they wanted to play their home games at the Mid South Coliseum, which had already been completely booked throughout the entire winter. They secured a single Friday home game, one
Okay.
game,
Good. Good, good,
and
good.
had to play the rest of their games in stadiums around Tennessee and Mississippi. Before the start of the season, they'd sold 180 season tickets. Not
Okay.
great.
Good. Good, good, good.
That said, the average attendance in that first year was higher than it had been during the last two seasons in Louisiana, and the team still made the playoffs, losing to the Pacers in 4 games. So you might assume things were headed in the right direction to some degree.
Yeah. Made it to the playoffs.
You would be incorrect. In
Oh,
December, 3 months after buying the team, Blake left. He
okay.
said he'd lost $200,000 and did not want to deal with it anymore. So a lot of people were like,
Okay.
"Oh, this franchise is going to die. It wouldn't be the first one. It definitely won't be the
Yep.
last. It's
Yep.
going to just fall off the vine." But then a community group called Memphis Area Sports Incorporated bought the
Okay.
team for $700,000. 4,000,
I love that.
yeah, so
That's so great.
4,000.
Like a Packers situation.
Mm,
Okay, you finish.
no, I'm not going to finish. That's a joke. The Packers say they're run like that. They're not. It's not real. 4,600 Tennessee residents bought stock in the team for like 5, 10, and $50, and they elected a 24-person board to run it. The next season, they made quite a few big moves.
This sounds fun until
But
they suck, but
yeah, they lost both Steve Jones. He went in free agency to a different team, and Jimmy Jones. They traded him away. So they lost both their all stars. They're both gone.
hmm
Babe is gone by this point. He left, but they did sign Larry Cannon, who 2 years prior had been an All ABA player,
okay.
but he had a vein disease in his leg,
Oh,
and he missed a ton of time, and that eventually caused him to retire. So he went from averaging like 26 points a game to like 8 because he had this disease in his leg that messed him up. But the real splash, which was a huge splash at the time, was signing a guy named Johnny Neumann, who was playing for Ole
mm,
Miss. Now, notice I said was playing.
okay.
Neumann was a 6'6" shooting guard who, as a sophomore, led the NCAA with 40 points a night.
Wow. Okay.
He dropped 60 points more than twice, and many called him the next Pete Maravich.
Wow.
So,
Johnny Neumann. He sounds like the bad guy in Archie comic, like a bully
yeah,
at school.
yeah. I mean, he probably was. He probably was a bully at school. And he made the decision during his sophomore year of college to leave Ole Miss with 2 games left on the schedule and sign a five
Uh-oh.
year, $2 million contract with the pros. Now, a lot of that was
Okay.
deferred, which was a very common thing in the ABA. They would defer their money. So you really didn't make that much money, but they told them they were making all that much money. And they also had put it in
Right.
press releases to make it seem like they were making a lot of money. But really, what was happening is we're going to give you $200,000 and then we're going to
Mm-hmm.
put so much money every year into a mutual fund. And when you're 45, then you'll get money, but you'll start getting money back.
Oh, that's nuts.
So he had a big contract and he would claim that, so he's born in Memphis. So he would claim, to be honest, I was the biggest thing to come out of Memphis other than Elvis.
Yeah. I mean, he's on his way. Sounds
As a,
like.
as a rookie, he averaged 18.3 points a night and made the all rookie team. Oh, excuse me. I said Babe was gone. Actually, Babe was still there. He was there
Okay.
for one more year. I forgot. I messed up. But he fought with Babe all the time. Babe would
Hmm.
fine him, uh, make him sit out of games, make him run at practice. And then the next year, Babe left because he was so tired of dealing with the management and Neumann. But to his credit, Neumann boosted his scoring up to 20 points a night. However, he was one of the more immature players in the league, which is saying a lot as we get deeper into the ABA.
Yeah, ABA signed everybody. I don't care.
And he bounced around from team to team, never sticking with anyone consistently after his time with Memphis. So I have a couple stories here to illustrate Neumann's life and career. He did pass away, but not until 2019, so you don't have to worry about him dying early. I'm reading these out of my book, so apologies if it's a little stilted, but I did want to write them down again. So here's a couple stories. The first one's from Bob Bass, who he became the coach after Babe left. So he was his coach during the
Okay.
second year when he averaged 20 points. But Bass says this: I had Johnny in his second year, and he owned 7 cars. He also had a stock car with his name on it. He had blown nearly all of his money. Charlie Finley, who's a guy we'll talk about in a minute, and I worked with him and got him down to 3 cars by the end of the season. He had a lot of friends and relatives around him, and he was always giving them money, buying them things. He was the kind of player who drives coaches crazy. He obviously was a scorer, but he didn't hold up his end on defense, nor would he create shots for his teammates. Everything was just for Johnny. I was all over him about this, and one night he just got tired of hearing it. He went out and did nothing but pass, and he got 19 assists, and we won the game.
Hey, love to see it.
He showed me that he could flat out pass, that he could be a great point guard if he felt like it. But the thing with Johnny Neumann was that he only felt like playing the game his way.
Hmm.
Here's Joe Tate. It's a great story. The legendary Johnny Neumann story was that one night he was sitting on the bench and the coach called his name. Neumann stood up, tore off his warm up pants, and all he was wearing underneath was his jockstrap.
Okay. Don't know why we need it, but yeah.
What do you mean, why we need it? That's a great story.
Sorry, I meant if I'm there in person, I'm like, you
Oh, I bet the ladies were happy.
know,
Come on. That's what
no,
all they showed out for. Seeing that butt. Here's Warner Fuselli, who said Johnny Neumann will forever be one of those what might have been stories. It was almost like the fact that he was capable of greatness was enough for him. He didn't have to be great. There was a game where he had 38 points, but only 3 in the second half. It was like I had a 35-point half. What else do you want me to do? He was likable, and the only guy he ever hurt was himself. But that bothered other people because of what he could have been.
mm, yeah,
And then finally, Dave Twardzik, again, probably butchering that last name, but he said, the game of basketball never came easy for me. I was a 6 foot guard and had to claw and work for everything. Johnny was 6'6", the prototype big guard the pros love. The thing was that George Irvin and I got along great with Johnny. We really liked the guy, but it drove us crazy to watch a guy with his talent just waste it. Maybe it would have been different if I had averaged 50 points a game as a sophomore, and if everyone had thrown all that money at me when I was 19, or maybe things just came too easy for him. But it always bothered me that Johnny Neumann never was the player he should have been. So not at the early death sad, but the sad that he just could not put it together and become the player he could have been.
yeah,
And also it sucks because, you know, nobody has heard of Johnny Neumann, right?
yeah.
I mean, he
Right,
was an incredible college player and nobody
right.
talks about him.
Could have been one of the greats.
Oh well. All right. So in 72, the team finished with just 26 wins. So this was Neuman's first season, and Babe left the team, and the league was forced to take over after financial problems once again popped up.
Oh, come
That
on, city of Memphis. What's the problem?
it's the whole state of Tennessee.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Anybody from Tennessee could join. At that point, Charlie Finley, who also owned the Oakland A's, and I didn't not even know this was a team, the NHL's California Golden Seals.
Oh, that is amazing. I love that name. Golly.
So
Should bring them back.
he bought the team, and he changed the name, also changed the colors, changed it to the
Okay.
same. He wanted all of his teams to have the same colors, so they all had
Mm,
the green and gold of the Oakland A's. He also
yep.
decided to bring in Adolph Rupp. You know who that is, correct?
I remember talking about him. Yep.
Oh my God, that's painful. Adolph Rupp is
I
the coach of Kentucky basketball.
I said I remember talking about him.
But the way you said it is like I've never heard of him before we
Oh, no,
talked
no,
about
no.
him.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was being legitimate.
Okay, sorry. I was like, oh my God, I mean, he's a horrible human being in a lot of ways, but an all-time coach. And so Finley, because he knew that, obviously people in Memphis, people in Tennessee, of course, they're fans of, UT. They're fans of
Right.
Vanderbilt. They're
Mm,
later would become fans of
some people are.
Memphis State, but there are a lot of Kentucky fans around here. So he brought in Adolph Rupp to be the president, which I'm using heavy air quotes there for
Okay. Yep.
listeners. But really, what he brought Adolph Rupp in was to pay him $90 to come sit at a press conference so people would talk about the team because Adolph Rupp is there.
Hmm.
So Adolph Rupp was not super involved in the team. Instead, what they did was hire a guy, Bob Bass, who I just mentioned, to be the new coach. Finley also wanted the team to rename wanted the city to rename the team. So he put it to a fan vote. And the name that the city, or the fans, I guess, settled on is the Memphis Tams. Any
Okay.
guesses for what they mean
Tams.
by Tams?
No. Tams.
Tams. The Memphis Tams.
Fan Tams.
Now let me tell you, it's an acronym. Can you guess what the acronym is?
Oh,
TAM.
total action madness.
Wow, a great guess. Way better than what it actually is. The acronym stands.
Tennessee Alliance. No, I have no idea. Can't finish it.
The acronym is Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi.
Okay. Come on. The Tams. Got it. Be
They
better. Be better than that.
and can you guess what their mascot or their logo was? You can't. There's no way. It is a Scottish Tam O'Shanter hat.
Okay. Just because they needed something that went with
With
Tam.
Tams, yes.
Okay.
So during that next season, the team had the worst record in the league.
Golly.
Plus, despite Finley had promised before buying the team he would not leave Memphis. He was like, "I'm here for good."
Yeah.
During that first season, he immediately tried to negotiate to bring the team to St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't
Fun.
work out for what it's worth, but he tried. And then in 1973, the next year, he called Bass and he said, "Disconnect the phones, sell the furniture. The team is finished. We're going out of business. We're done."
Okay.
For 2 weeks, the Memphis Tams existed as a telephone number and nothing else. They
Oh,
were
wow.
nothing. Somehow they still got back together and played in 1974. And part of that is,
Resiliency.
well, part of it is the league needed teams, right? Like they needed to have teams around to help sell to the NBA. The goal
Yeah.
was a merger. The goal was not
Right.
to become a successful league. The goal was a merger. So they needed teams to prove they were successful. So the league was doing everything they could to keep places like Memphis in business. Before that season, for what it's worth, they did draft Larry Keenan, who would go on to become a 5-time All-Star in the ABA and NBA, mostly with the Spurs alongside the Iceman George Gervin. And they drafted Larry Finch, who was the Memphis Tigers coach, the Memphis State coach, when Penny Hardaway was there. So he coached Memphis State from like 1986 to 1997.
Okay.
So one of their better eras. Obviously, like the Calipari days were a little bit better, I think, but not remembered as fondly by Memphis fans because of him leaving and also having a bunch of like recruiting violations and all that.
Come on, it's Neumann.
They also that year drafted David Thompson, the Skywalker, the Sky something. He has a really cool nickname. He would basically
Okay.
become the ABA alongside Dr. J later in
Hmm.
life, but he decided to stay in college. So he was like, I'm not going to play
I
for
don't
the.
want to be a Tam.
I don't want to be a TAM. I'm going to stay
Yeah.
in college. And eventually he went and played for the Denver Nuggets.
Seems like a fair argument to not want to be a Tam, but
Uh, on top of that, Keenan never actually played for the team. He was traded away before he played a
dang.
game. So it just completely fell apart. Finley tried to trade the team again or sell the team again to a group in Rhode Island. And then he was running out of money. So he traded away most of his players that were any good. And they lost 63 games that season.
Good Lord.
In 1975, Finley just left, just basically just walked away. And Mike Storin, who was the ABA commissioner at the time, took over. And his his idea was, you know what we should do? The Indiana Pacers are really good, and we will talk about the Pacers in a later episode, so you'll learn how good they
Okay.
were later.
Can't wait.
But for this week, I wanted a shorter episode because I'm doing a lot in my other life. And so he said, the Pacers used to be good. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to recreate the Pacers.
Okay.
We're just going to bring in Mel Daniels, Freddie Lewis, Roger Brown, all these guys that won championships, and we'll just make it happen.
Yeah, love it.
He also still had Finch, who he kept because he had played for Memphis. Now that's another thing I should say, I guess, about Keenan. Keenan and Finch played together at Memphis, so it was a good pickup, right? Because then you're going to get local fans. Keenan never
Yeah.
played, but still. Storin also decided to change the name to the Memphis Sounds, which is a jersey the Grizzlies still wear today.
Okay.
So pretty
I
cool.
think I've seen it.
He also made a couple of bids to try to bring in some investors. So he talked to Holiday Inn founder Kimmons Wilson and musician Isaac Hayes,
Okay.
who you probably know. But everything fell through and nothing was working. So here's a couple stories about the final days from the book Loose Balls by Terry Pluto. I almost said Doug Pluto. Apologies to Terry. If you're still alive, I don't know. So here's Dick Tinkham, who was very heavily involved in the league for several years. He said, that last year in Memphis, Mike, meaning Mike Storin, lost all of his common sense. He paid us $150,000 for Mel Daniels, Roger Brown, and Freddie Lewis, and those guys were washed up. Mel Daniels says, the idea was to put the old Pacers together in Memphis. I was never hurt to be traded by Indiana, but I figured if I went anywhere, at least I would be with my friends. Excuse me, he said I
Wow.
was hurt. I said he wasn't. He was hurt to be traded.
Oh,
He
okay.
hated it.
Okay.
But that didn't last long. Storin traded Freddie Lewis to St. Louis and Roger Brown to Utah, and I was by myself. I had to approve the deal to Memphis, and I did, because Storin promised me more money and an apartment. Indiana had signed Lynn Elmore, and he was supposed to be the Pacers' center of the future. So I went to Memphis to be with Freddie and Roger, but there wasn't any more money. Freddie and Roger were traded, the team was awful, and it turned out to be the biggest mistake I've ever made.
Oh my God.
And here is the man, Mike
Good Lord.
Storin. Roger Brown had some physical problems, and he just wasn't Roger Brown anymore. He was 32, and his age was really showing, which feels great when I'm about to turn 37 next month.
Yeah,
Uh,
crazy.
Mel, Mel Daniels slipped in the bathtub
Oh God.
and did something to his back. We needed some size, so we traded Lewis to St. Louis for Tom Owens. Look, everything just went wrong. Rick Mount got off to a great start for us. After the first month of the season, he was leading the league in scoring. Then he broke his collarbone.
Good God.
We had Larry Finch from Memphis State, who was a great guy, but too slow to be an effective pro. We had Jim O'Brien, who had wild red hair and looked like Bozo the Clown. Our best player was Stu Johnson, a guy who played for 9 years and never dove for a loose ball. He, this is so good. He had 4 different spots on the floor where he could make shots, and Joe Mullaney drew up plays where all Stu had to do was shoot from those spots. Joe did a hell of a job with no talent. We went 27 and 57, and it was a miracle we won the 27 games. And that was the end of the line in Memphis.
Sheesh.
So after the season, to wrap it up here, the NBA demanded Storin find more investors, sell more tickets, and get a better arena than the Mid-South Coliseum. Storin couldn't make any of that happen, So the league took over and sold the team to a group in Baltimore. They renamed the team the Baltimore Hustlers.
Oh, okay.
However, local fans and the league did not like that name, so before they played a single game,
Oh my
they changed it
gosh.
to the Baltimore Claws.
Way better than Hustlers.
The Claws played in 3 exhibition games in 1975, losing all of them. There are a lot of details about what happened, but mostly it's just the money ran out and
Yep.
then they couldn't make it happen. The long and short of it is that the Claws folded before the regular season started. They were the first of the teams in that final year of the ABA to fold, I think. There might have been one other one, but I think they're the first. All of the players were put in the dispersal draft, and Mel Daniels claims the players took equipment and furniture from the team's office in lieu of payment.
Oh my gosh.
And that is the story of the Bucks, Pros, Tams, Sounds, Hustlers, Claws in the ABA.
Yeah. I feel like the tagline of the ABA should be like, I promise I won't do this thing with like a cross fingers crossed behind my back.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like every story we have is like a guy buys it and says, I swear I won't do that, and then immediately does that.
yeah. I think hopefully next time out we will get into a more successful story. I have led with some of the bad ones, um, but there are definitely there are some successes, right? The
Yeah.
Pacers, the Spurs, the Nuggets. They're all success stories. So we will get into those. We do also still have the Spirit of St. Louis on the docket, which is oh god, that has to be a movie like tomorrow. It's incredible. It's so good. But yeah, that is the story of these guys. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here and go enjoy Labor Day weekend?
Um, Take care of yourself out there. You know,
Okay.
I hope you're listening to this while you're not working. I don't know what to say. Yeah.
You think people listen to this while they're working?
No, I said while you're not working.
But you think people do listen to this while they're work? I guess some people have jobs so they can listen to podcasts, like if they're a
Oh,
truck driver.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
I feel good about it.
I'm glad you feel good about it. We will see you all next time where we'll talk about a more successful ABA team. Goodbye.
Peace.